Welcome back. Welcome to our third segment, and this is Trade of the Week, and this is for June 22nd, 2024. As always, we look at the gaps. Remember, we had the roll, and so we are in September futures contract. So just be reminded of that. You see there were a few gaps, and they were nicely filled. But I talked about this last week. I mentioned it was this open gap from June 12th, and we did fill the half of the gap, and this is on 60 minutes. Sometimes it's adequate enough, that's good enough, so the markets don't go revisit it, but sometimes they like to complete the mission. So just be aware of this area. This was the 54.73 half, but just be aware. Other than that, I mean, all the other gaps have been filled. I mentioned about platinum, as I said, just be aware. We are, we are out of this oversold. We are right hitting that 50-day moving average. So if we break above that, have continued, then it would be a nice movement and we can go to upper edge. But momentum is still not positive, but it's still not there. We're under 50, and we want to see if it can break. If it doesn't, it probably will come back and kiss that 100-day moving average. But last week, as I said, that was a nice support zone for making a little bit of money on this trade. Last week, the best ETF was believe it or not, Expanded Tech Software, IGV, and it was up 2.5%, Adobe and a point. And then the worst one, it was interesting. Oil was up and Invesco Solar 10 was down 7.8%. The Energy Select Spider XLE was up 2.2, and then Clean Energy, the PBW, was down 7.6%. Talked about the XLK, as I mentioned. We can see again, XLK on Thursday hit the all-time high at $232.59. Again, is this an outside day engulfing, and then this third candle? So we'll see if that means we will continue this downtrend, or I mean the little bit of sell-off, and find a little footing or not. The same thing with SMH. Look at again, all-time high, engulfing, outside day. Stocks, we've been following Apple and Nvidia. The previous week we mentioned about the World Development Conference. We had this huge move in Apple. We talked about that 220 zone, if you recall. That was up at the top of the channel. So we could not break it. So what has happened, there's a couple of things going on. And I'm looking at the 60-day. There's a support here, but if we break that, especially we see the DMI negative has crossed a positive, at least in 60 minutes. We see on the 30 minutes, we have broken below the cloud. We could go down to 200 zone, right around here, right? You can see, and consolidate around that. And again, with Apple likes those $5 moves. So we'll see what happens. We still got the support. But again, that's the reason I mentioned about rebalancing on the XLK. So the money was moving out, but also we had a lot of option expiration, huge. So when I look at, this is my very short term, I look at the 3-day and 8-day exponential moving average. We see we broke on Thursday below the 8, and then below the 3, and then below the 8. We still got the 21-day moving average at $201 area. But the stochastics, we have gone from overbought all the way. The momentum is going down, but look at this volume again. And MACD is about to cross. So let's see again that 200 area. Will that give us some support? Remember, Apple, July is historically their really positive month. They generally are very strong. So just a food for thought. But this is from technical point of view. We might want to consolidate. The same thing with NVIDIA. You look at this big candle again. What happened with NVIDIA? You know, we had the split, wonderful move, and now we've broken below the turning line. This is engulfing, turning outside day. We are sitting right on the 60-minute lower edge of a cloud, and broke under the 30 on the 30 minutes, broke under the cloud. So be aware what happened was huge amount of options because we had a 10-for-1 split. So when we have those big splits, what happens, there's a tremendous number of volume of options are there, and they had to be, again, basically have to be either exercised, or they had to be rolled, or that is something that affects the market. So this could be one of the reasons. Also, I wanted to look at the 8-day and 3 days. See, we are right on that 8 and 3 days. So we are consolidating. Although it's 1 day, we went to overbought. Again, when you look at the volume, that's pretty big volume. MACD is about to cross. So let's see if we find a footing on that 50-day moving average, or I mean 21-day moving average. We also, Thursday, we talked about the Bristol Myers, and we looked at the valuation. We thought it was a pretty good value for long term. On the short term, we were looking at 60 minutes. We were below the cloud, and we can see now the DMI positive has crossed. And what we have now, we are breaking above that 60 minutes. Now we need a second candle, at least for me, to confirm that. We see that 30 minutes also has crossed above. And generally what happens if we continue, again, if you want to be short-term play, it will go 3 to 5 days on a 60 minutes. So that could have a leg. We're still way below that cloud, and on a weekly, on a monthly. So we see there's a lot of room for progress, but there's not a pretty candle on a monthly basis. But on a daily, looks like almost like a double bottom. The DMI positives trying cross, but again, you could either do put selling, or you can do a stop loss under maybe 40 or 39.5. Just a food for thought. So I just thought to look at that. And also, again, we look at the expected move, how nicely it did go outside this lower edge and came back up. Now there's a dividend coming up on July 1st, or somewhere around July 1st or 2nd, actually. It's a 60-cent dividend. So take that into consideration as far as the payments go. Also, Poet, the similar thing. You see how thin the clouds are. So I'm not a big fan of these micro caps or penny stocks. So anyway, we did go hit the standard line, and we got rejected. So this doji, almost like a evening star. So just be aware of it. We had 188. So the same thing on a weekly, we just hit the lower edge. So just a little heads up. We talk about Apple. I just want to continue. You can see how we have, just after hitting that all-time high of 220, or at least 52 weeks high, we have just corrected, just went outside or close to the lower edge of expected move. The same thing with, look at what happened with NVIDIA, outside and parked on the lower edge. All right. As far as the scan, we did the NASDAQ 100. These are for the short squeeze. So there are, or I mean, the squeeze plays. We can see Tesla is in squeeze, and Google and AMD, so, or Alphabet. So some nice candidates. Last week we still had some earnings coming up. The price 17 out of 30 were positive movements in the actual price. 14 reported positively, 12 were neutral, and 4 negative. And the forward guidance, there was 2 positive and 5 negative. So some of the companies who did the best, you can see they're here, from Lazy Boy, and we can see Winnebago. Kroger it beat the expectation. KB Home beat the expectations. And then this coming week, you still got some interesting ones. We got the Carnival Cruise, we got FedEx, General Mills, Paychex, Micron, Levi. So just be aware there are some earnings play if you like to. BlackBerry, again, this is Micron's expected to report on Wednesday, June 26th. Carnival Cruise, Nike coming on Thursday, June 27th. FedEx and Walgreens, as well as Levi and Levi Strauss and Paychex. All right. I hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, a prosperous one, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.